I'd like to congratulate everyone for all the work that they've done. There's over 40,000 words to tell me, so that's a lot of work, a lot of creativity in the last 3 months. Each student that say is going to read over, they're going to read over some of their work today. There's some great stories, and who knows, we might have a Maeve Binchy here, or maybe someone with the top other authors in Ireland. So look, it'd be great. Maybe in a few years' time they could be coming down here launching their own book. So on behalf of the Town Council, I'd like to congratulate all for their work, great work done in the last 3 months, and to wish them all well in the future. Thank you very much.
I have been teaching this kind of course for about 10 years between Dublin, Westmeath and Offaly. And some of my past students have gone on to become published authors or working with theatre, which is a really nice indictment of my teaching. But this group is very unusual. I don't know if it's because the schools in the area might be really, really good. I don't know if it's because they come from pretty extraordinary families. But one of the problems I thought I might have when I was talking to Sinead and the head librarian Mary Stewart about running the course, I said, it's very short by comparison to what I normally do, and I'm worried they're not going to be able to get enough words out because it takes a long time to access your creativity. It takes an awful long time to source your voice. It's usually about a year into the creative writing course that the artists begin to bloom. Not this course. This course has managed in the space of 3 months to give me a book, 40,000 words, which is your average size of a book. So I'm incredibly grateful that they are so prolific, they are so intelligent, and it has made my job so much more easier that they're extremely talented. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our first reader. His name is Graham Troy. So Graham, come on up.
Rays of sunlight crept across the room, and I pulled the sheets up a bit higher and sunk deeper under the sheets. A few seconds later, the alarm clock rang. No way, I groaned, and reluctantly swung my legs out of bed. I hated St. Mary's School. The principal always gave me that disappointed look when she was handing back my result sheet at the end of each term.
I glared at the vibrant New York cityscape, ignoring the chauffeur, Creevy, my stepfather had grudgingly sent for me. A newcomer to New York, I found myself hating the sprawling city. The flashy touristal sights of Times Square and the Statue of Liberty irked me, and the gawking tourists themselves annoyed me to no end. It was a city bursting at the seams with people. It felt like I was surrounded by cockroaches. I missed Sacramento and its laid-back vibe, and more importantly, how it felt like home. My stepfather, an imperious man who had made a fortune on the stock market, had adopted me when I was 15. I lived on the streets most of my life, and most remarkably, adopted within 2 months of being in the orphanage.
My wife and I needed help badly. We were caught in a living hell, being haunted by some kind of thing. My wife's name is Lucy, and my name is Zark. Please, just don't make fun of my name. My parents were total idiots. They heard some crap about if you give your child a totally original name, they will have a great life. So far, I think the person who said that should be shot.
The Din Bar was a dive, even for this side of the city. Cigarette smoke made seeing 10 feet in front of you almost impossible, and anybody mildly unaware would trip over the junk cars that passed out on the floor. The filthy, once patterned wallpaper was peeling off the walls, revealing the damp underneath. The bar top was covered in long scratches and stains of various colours, some less appealing than others. Most of the stools were wobbling, and the ones that didn't wobble were in danger of collapsing altogether.
300,000 years to reach us, he explained, as he pointed up into the sparkling night sky. So we are seeing that star as it looked 300,000 years ago. It might not even be there anymore. It might have died and turned into a black hole, but we are still amazed by its beautiful image, even though it's ancient.
Do the dead dream, I wonder, lying in that cold wooden box 6 feet under? Or are they finally at peace? This is one of many questions I ask myself every hour of every day to escape my cold, harsh life. And I've been trapped in Wyoming. Who the hell gets trapped in the Attack of the Living Dead in Wyoming? Man has a poor choice of holiday locations, that's who. It's been over a year since they rose, crawling out of their boxes, shattering the last vestiges of humanity left in them. They were hungry, so hungry, and they couldn't be fed. They didn't eat brains, not flesh, not even those little microwavable chocolate cakes you get free at Domino's Pizza. Seriously, who doesn't like those? So they slaughtered us, no infecting, no crawling towards you at a laughably slow speed. They just tore us to pieces. Now there's no one left but me.
I woke up, cold sweat running down my neck. Where was I? I squinted, trying to read the darkness. I sat up. I could see a glimmer of light coming from the street below. The light was shining off my dressing table mirror. With a shock, I realised that the nightmare had been so colourful and vivid, I thought I was still dreaming. How strange. I didn't usually have nightmares, and I most certainly never woke up in the middle of the night. Weary now, I sunk back towards the soft lacy pillow, pulling the duvet tight around my body. I lay there, wondering about my day. The Greens' eldest son, Richard, had unexpectedly returned home. Quite a surprise, as he wasn't due back until late April.
The great forest concealed an evil. John quickly dressed and stepped over to the embers of the dying fire. Its gentle radiation warmed his stiff limbs. He reluctantly opened the door and stepped into the mist outside. The warmth and protection of his house were eliminated at once. Winter's presence was everywhere. Snow had engulfed the landscape for as far as the eye could see. When his eyes rested upon the forest, a shiver ran along his spine. He clasped his jacket, pulling it closer around his neck, and continued to trudge through the carpet of ice. John glimpsed the box shapes of the small wooden cabins entombed in a thick layer of snow. Only the erratic appearances of shovel-like doors were evidence of the fact that they were inhabited. Without realising John had arrived, he unwillingly removed his hand from the warm enclosure of his pocket and rapped his knuckles on the door. 1 minute, a shrill voice called. John heard a shuffling noise from within. "It's only me, John," he called reassuringly. Immediately, the clunk of numerous padlocks and bolts unlocking filled the chill air. The door creaked open. "Oh God, hello John, I'm sorry." Sarah's gaunt face smiled apologetically. "I thought it was... Oh, never mind, come on in." John stepped into the cabin, and Sarah abruptly closed the door with a deep thud, banishing the outside world. He followed her into the room. An oil lamp flickered on the wooden table, painting the surroundings in a soft yellow glow, hunting the darkness. The child in the corner beamed at him with wild and excited eyes. She stood up and lightly skipped over to him with outstretched arms. Her wild dishevelled hair whirled around her face. John plucked her from the ground and held her close in a warm embrace. "Good morning, Jane," he said, snuggling the child.
Thank you, Mary. 2 rounds of applause. Well done. Okay, I'd like to call, they're all hiding behind the pillar now.
Lily took one hand off the steering wheel to brush a black strand of hair behind her ear. Suddenly, the radio died. Silence. "Ah," Emily moaned. "That's the end of that." "Well, you were completely out of tune," Lily grinned. It was the first time since Christmas vacation that they had been home. Though Emily's parents would be delighted to see their only daughter, it was a different story for Lily. It took so much for Lily to come back and face the music again.
Colin let out a sigh as he rounded the final corner. This was the feeling he'd been waiting for, the adrenaline kicking in. He increased his pace. The countryside filled with the echoes his feet left pounding off the pavement. He was finally alone.
The truth was that there were no such magic words, something both of us knew. There was silence for a while. Neither of us knew what to say to each other. "I don't want to be late," I said quietly. "Right, yes, of course. Wouldn't want that on the first day." "You okay?" Mum asked, glancing at me quickly as she drove. "Yeah, I'm fine," I replied, as I sat stiffly in the passenger seat, my fingers contorting themselves into strange knots on my lap. "Never knew you were so flexible," Mum said, nodding to my hands busily twisting themselves around and around. I blushed and quickly disentangled my fingers.
And the truth was, nobody really did care. I tried to imagine telling Annie I'd got attention, but that just made me feel lonely, so I hastily turned to other matters. I looked around and winced. Celia and a couple of other brain-dead Barbie clones were sitting in one corner of the room, discussing some new boy that was arriving tonight. We had all received a speech about making him feel welcome, etc., etc., but it looked like the girls were going to give him an extra special hello. His
gorgeous, Honey whispered conspiratorially. I saw him in the principal's office about an hour ago. He's so my type. But darling, Celia pouted, you already have Mark. I think I should have the newbie.
So I'm going to introduce, because she's reading from chapter 3, it's really about a girl who has died, been mistakenly processed and put into hell, where the devil falls in love with her.
First she saw a dark black shiny shoe around the corner, followed by a leg sheath in a crisp black pair of suit trousers. Finally, a whole body loomed before her, casting her in shadow. The man standing before her had a sneer set into his sharp face. His pale skin gleamed with a faint red tinge. His eyes were dark and seemed to glower. Ellie felt sick to the pit of her stomach, but her eyes wouldn't leave his face no matter how hard she tried to pull them away. Miss Cope told her to expect a formidable man called Luke. This must be Luke, Ellie thought.
3 strikes and you had to visit the king. This was Zach's third offence, and now he had to listen to the king screaming, "Will I have your head removed then, page?" Zach was about to say no, when 5 warriors wearing the jet black leather of the Northern Empire's army fell in through the large windows. Surrounded, Zach took hold of his sword, Shining Saviour, and grabbed one of the enemy's swords. Swinging Shining Saviour, Zach pounced, but 4 other identical swords intersected him, overpowered him, and flung Zach's sword towards the other end of the chambers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll all agree the future is very, very bright when we see stars like this.
Absolutely.
I think Caroline deserves great, great applause for the work that she has done in the last 3 months. And to Martina and the staff of the library here in Birr, I can't emphasise enough how important it is for young people to come into the library. It's here every single day, bar Monday it's closed, and the work that the girls do inside is absolutely unbelievable. They're there all the time, and anybody with any ideas or could be able to create anything for the young people, there's always work there, and Martina and the girls deserve great, great credit for the work that they do. The Offaly County Council and the Arts Council, I'd like to say thank you very, very much for the great support that they do in doing projects like this. It's very, very important. And as I said at the start, it's important to see all these young people aged between 13 and 17, that the work that they have done. So I say thank you all, thank you for coming here today, and to wish all these young students the very best in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're here with some of our creative writers, and we're just going to ask them how they think it all went today.
I thought it was brilliant. It was good to get the chance not to have a certain particular thing you have to write about in school. Like, you just can express yourself more freely here. So it was a brilliant experience.
I thought it was a good chance to express ourselves as writers and to get our writing styles across, and to have someone who could help us with that and produce readable and good quality scripts.
That's great.
First of all, I'd like to thank Caroline Barry, our teacher. She's really helped us become better writers, and hopefully from these lessons I'll become a brilliant author one day. Please keep it going.
That's good.
She really does enjoy the lessons. It's just great to be able to kind of dive into your talent and start writing things you like. It's great fun.
Well, I really liked it. It was really good brainstorming ideas and stuff. So it's like, you didn't get a crap idea or something. And what you said, please keep it going.
Okay, thanks very much. Oh, I have one more.
That was great. Something to do with Saturday. That wasn't just laying around the house or sleeping. Yes.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I was just at the presentation now, and I'm utterly amazed at the talent that's around, especially these days. There's so much negativity about the youth, but today it's opened my eyes as to what they can do, and it's great that they can get this support, and hopefully it will help them in the future, and we'll be putting artists ahead.